start by introducing Mary Snapp from Microsoft, who actually lives in my neighborhood, I just found out, which is awesome, so we have to get coffee, up in Seattle. And it's amazing with Microsoft is that Microsoft has brought in a leader who understands the role of purpose, and guess what happened? Their stock has doubled in price. Purpose is changing the nature of business, and this is a great example of how Microsoft is making this happen on a day-to-day basis with their incredible code tripping project, where they took amazing youth out and had them meet people doing incredible things with technology to help inspire the next generation, to help cross this digital divide, to help build the skills they need for the market. So with that, I'm going to have Mary come up with her gang of code trippers and talk about their experience. So they're going to come up in a second. But anyway, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I really loved the introduction from folks here today, because I do think it's important to think about impact, and it's important to think about action. And when we think about Microsoft Philanthropies, we try to take the things that we think that we can bring pretty uniquely, because certainly we should bring cash. Certainly we should bring our technology, but we also need to bring the skills of our volunteers, and it's important for us to bring advocacy to the issues. Now more than ever, it's important for us to bring advocacy. So as we take these assets together, we have really focused on a couple of very significant initiatives, and the one I want to talk to you today is about our Youth Spark initiative. That's an effort in partnership with about 200 nonprofits in 55 countries around the world to bring digital skills, digital literacy, and in some cases even computer science education to young girls and to underserved communities, however it's defined in that country. But I think it's really fitting today to talk about our Youth Spark program in the United States. After the events of the last week, it's very clear that a number of people, many people, feel left out. And it's also clear that change in technology is inevitable. So now, more than ever, it's important that we bring access to technology and the skills to use technology to those who feel left behind. Today, with this panel, we're going to talk not just about digital literacy, we're actually going to talk about computer science. So there's a whole spectrum of things that can be brought to the table. But we're going to go to the far end of the spectrum, talk not just about literacy, but computer science. And an example of 3 young people who've had some great exposure over the last year to a potential career in computer science. I like this notion of code tripping, which is a project in Roadtrip Nation, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it takes young people and it really talks about and teaches the notion of innovation and social entrepreneurship. And you'll see that each of these young people has great ideas and innovative ideas. The second thing it does is something that we maybe can tend to overlook, which is the ability to bring what the soft skills are to the table as well. The experience of these young people bonding together over the course of a month and meeting leaders and mentors and sponsors is just incredible to watch in the documentary. And the third thing is, they're really great young people. And you will have a chance to meet them. But before we do that, let's take a look at the trailer so you can get an idea about what Roadtrip Nation and what Code Trippin' really was about. So please.
I have this picture I love of me and all the other kids in my computer science class in high school. It's literally like all boys, and then me in my bright pink flowery shirt in the middle. Do I wish there were more people that looked like me that could actually relate? Of course, obviously.
Computer science to me means understanding magic, how magic works. Everybody sees their phone works, but nobody knows what it's doing inside the program that's happening. I've always been interested, but in my family, I don't have anybody that works in the technology industry.
I'm still figuring out where to go with tech. This is something that I can do, and this is something that I really want to do. but I don't even know what the next step would be.
Thing's huge, right? Can't believe we're gonna be driving this big old thing.
This summer,
We're going on a road trip across the US.
We're interviewing people who are successful and they're minorities as well.
we're underrepresented.
Before is a little bit of insight, just a little bit of advice that might change the way I think.
I'm hoping to develop even more of like a passion for computer science and also like a confidence in what I'm doing.
You can follow the traditional routes, and you can get traditional responses. Or you can be bold, you can be brave, and you can be brilliant. Choose your road. Listen to what speaks to you.
All your accomplishments, all your failures, get them, embrace them both, but don't let them define you because you're gonna define your own happiness and your own success.
This whole experience is kind of made me excited about the possibilities of tech.
You guys are impressive people. The energy to be successful is 100% in you. And technology is going to enable you to do some things, possibly change the world if you desire to do that. But it's not going to change who you are. And remember that what you are, who you are, is enough. You have what you need. You are enough.
Natalie, Zoed to the stage. Okay, we have a few minutes to ask a couple questions, and they may have a few things that they'd like to tell you as well. But let me just sort of start. I mean, you all didn't know each other before you did this. Natalie, you didn't have a driver's license to be, and you're in that bus. Like, what, did you think it was a risky thing to do, or were you scared, or like, how did it feel just to start out?
Yeah, I think, it's this incredible opportunity, and then it dawns on you, like, wait, I'm gonna have to drive an RV across country, and how do I explain this to my mentors who are so invested in me going to college that I'm doing a PBS series who's back on the reservation where I live, like, that doesn't translate. So that, in my case, seemed kind of risky.
Yeah. So did it seem scary to you? You had driven a big bus before, so that was good.
It was a little bit scary, but I've always loved adventure and I've always loved technology, right? So you tell me I can travel the United States and learn more about tech. That to me, it doesn't matter how scary it is.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and now that you have your driver's license now.
Yeah.
One of many things. So I have a question for each of you, a different question for each of you. And so Natalie, I'm really going to start with you. If you get a minute to look, that's about an hour. It's the best holiday field movie you're going to see is watching this Trippin. But Natalie, what you learned, I think, and what you wanted to focus on, I think, was building confidence. Can you tell me a little bit more about where that came from and how the trip changed you?
Yeah, so I currently attend the University of Pennsylvania, and just going into school, coming from like public high school, it was just like a big transition. I didn't do too hot freshman year, and my confidence was like the worst, and I was just like, oh, look at all these people doing all these amazing things, like I wish I could be them, but I think after this road trip I realized like, yeah, I can do whatever I want, as long as I continue to pursue what I like, and as long as I pursue like my interests, like I'll find what I'm good at, and I actually did when I came back to Penn from my road trip. I took all these classes. Some classes were even like hard, but like they were so cool, so interesting to me that I actually did better than them than I would have like before. So I was really grateful like for this road trip for teaching me that, like as long as you do what you like to do, you can go far, like above and beyond.
And I think I heard this morning that you are interviewing for a position at Microsoft.
I I am.
We're gonna watch that, yeah. That's great. So you had kind of a different story. You really talked a lot in the film about wanting to bring your family up. And you, I think, are interested maybe in pursuing a different path than a traditional path. So how did the Roadtrip impact how you thought about what you wanted to do?
Right, well, I have to start off with a quote. I think it's from Einstein. I could be wrong because there's similar quotes. And it's just, he said, the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know, right? And it truly is that way. So I think the trip just made me focus more towards learning the main skills, right? I put more effort into learning the software engineering process. That way, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, what project it is, right, what language, I could always put those skills, those concepts into turning that certain project. And yeah, this book, I'm not exactly looking for a master's program or whatnot because I want to get into the field and get nice and dirty myself first, right, before I continue with my education. And family is a huge thing, right? I have a son, and I want to get in there and make a good living, right, and help others bring my family up.
Yeah, I mean, this is like we often overlook that men have to work on work-life balance issues too. So you've got a 3-year-old, right?
3.5.
3.5-year-old little one. Yeah.
No, it's incredibly hard. I try to spend as much time as I can with him because I don't live with him. His mother separated, so it takes even longer, right? Because you have to make the trips to the house, bring him with you. I have him all the time, but it takes a lot of time for me to study. You always think, well, if I have more time to study, I can be more successful. But what good is success if you can't share it with anybody, right?
That's a pretty good quote itself, actually. What good is success if you can't share it? That's a pretty good one. Robin, your story was a little bit different, you know. When I listened to the video, you talked about always trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and why didn't you fit in? And you were sort of looking for someone who was like you. Did you ultimately find that person, or did you change your view about square pegs and round holes?
Well, definitely, this opportunity exposed me to a wealth of people from different backgrounds. So I didn't find a native in tech, but what I did find was people who were just like, if you don't see that path, you gotta blaze it. And I left the Roadtrip initially. I was like, it was frustrating because why am I not running into natives? But then that turned into motivation. And actually, I came here from, I just directed the first collegiate National American Indian Hackathon, and I'm really excited about that. It really came from just the show, like people taking the time and saying, like, if you're not finding that, do it. And it's like, if you don't see the change, be it. And that really kind of stuck in, because here I am getting upset or getting frustrated that there's not natives in tech, but why am I not a native in tech if I'm doing tech and I'm native? And so maybe that's really drove home that connection there.
Yeah, no, that sounds really great. You all have already talked about a quote or something that really stuck with you. And one of the things that really I found interesting, not unlike many places in tech, but you all wrote on the walls of the bus. You wrote things that you learned were pieces of advice from someone who particularly made a difference for you. Natalie, can you talk about a piece of advice or a person who made a difference for you while you were doing the Roadtripping?
Yeah, so I met this woman actually kind of close, her office is close by here. Her name is Lava Gomez. And it was so inspiring to me because it was the first time I met someone who looked like me and like who wasn't the typical kind of like t-shirt, jeans, like sneakers, like techie. And it was just really cool to see like someone who had like tattoos on her foot and like, I don't know, it was just crazy. I was like, what? You can't do that. Like we all have to like look this one way. And I just realized like you can be whoever you want. It's like what you provide to the tech world that matters. So like you can look however you want to look. And I thought it was so cool. And she also like really resonated with me and like how she came from like a lower income background and it's just like really positive to see that like you can start from, you know, a lower income but end up doing whatever you want as long as someone believes in you. So.
No, that's the key, as long as someone believes in you, right? I mean, that seems to make so much difference. Zoed, how about you? Was there one person who stands out? There are so many people, but is there one who stands out for you?
Well, I don't want to say a particular person because honestly, I don't want to take away from anybody on the trip. They all had so
You're a good sharing guy. Yeah.
They all had so much great advice, and what's because some people might think, right, we met Satya, some people might think by default, oh, that guy's Microsoft CEO of Microsoft, right? He's definitely going to be your biggest impact, but every single one of the people we interviewed had so much great knowledge to share, and it made the same impact on me than Satya did, right? So I don't want to give anybody more or less power over that, I guess.
Yeah.
But they were all amazing.
Yeah.
So everything combined, the experience, the people, them giving their time to us, right? That was the most important part. That's what I got.
Robin, how about you? What did you write on the wall of the bus?
I actually don't remember. It was a blur. It was a really long summer.
It was a long summer, and as they were telling me, you all were like sleeping along you would just park the bus on the side of the road, and you found out there was air conditioning on the very last night but tell me a little bit more about the process of essentially understanding that you can be the person yourself. You know, you can be the person. You didn't necessarily. Everybody says you can't be it if you can't see it, but I think you're going to be it.
Well, it was interesting because even the way that the show works is we have to call up the people we admire, and they don't tell us that until we're already signed on the show. So it's like, wait, I could have contacted this person in a sense before, like, but you know, there's this wall there that's built. Like, if I reach out to them, they're not going to respond to me. Is this self-defeating sort of mindset that I think I have, or I feel like an invisible minority. So I didn't think there would be a gap there, and here we are reaching out to people that we admire, and then suddenly they're giving us advice like, be that change, and at a certain point it just hits you that, yeah, you know, I'm not seeing it, so why am I not contributing to it or helping out with it? And now I feel it just gave me like a surge of confidence and just sort of support to realize that so many people are invested, but oftentimes what they express is they don't know what goes on in reservation communities. They don't know how to reach out to American Indians. Here I am, an American Indian, why am I not kind of bridging that gap or creating that pipeline in a sense, or helping contribute to that? And so that was really powerful, and that's definitely something that has stuck with me and is being built on right now.
Yeah, that's great. We talk about what might be a memorable moment from the month, and so I don't know if it's true, but I thought it was pretty cool that you were climbing the steps in Philly like Rocky Balboa. Is there a particular memorable moment for you?
Well, that was definitely one, right? The stairs seemed a lot taller, a lot farther on the TV, so that was actually pretty awesome because I ran in like
It's a lot easier than
like 5-6 times, right? Which I thought that was pretty cool, right? When you think about it, it's symbolic wise, right? I mean, you're down here at the bottom, you make it to the top, and it was a lot easier than you thought, right? And you're up there raising your hands just like Rocky was. Rocky, I've seen those movies like 15 times also. So
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Natalie, how about you? A memorable moment?
I think one of my most memorable moments was like our first night. I've never been to the West Coast, so just coming and stepping on California land, like, whoa, it was crazy and beautiful. Like getting to meet you guys for the first time and realizing like, wow, this is real life. Like I'm so lucky and blessed to be here right now. So it's great.
That's great. We have, just a minute or two left, and I'd love for you all, if there was something you wanted to tell this group of people, what would it be? What would it be? Robin,
I think oftentimes people, especially like growing up on a reservation, one of the things we often hear is you have to leave the reservation for opportunity, and that our cultural just values and stuff kind of go against that, so we end up not pursuing some of the interests that we want to. But now it's about creating opportunities on the reservation. Or how do we get people, I think hacking that sensibility is something that's almost innate with a lot of underserved communities, because it's something that we do, that we learn. So I think building things and kind of demystifying these companies. Yeah, I'd heard of Microsoft, but I didn't understand where I could fit in the company until this road trip. And I'm not saying like everybody has to jump on a bus and do this, although you should. But like, if some of these companies can somehow demystify, like how do we fit in? How can we like be part of this team?
That's great. I really like that a lot, because we can get in our own bubble too, honestly. So, yeah. How about you, Natalie?
Yeah, so for me, it was just like, I guess advice I'd say is like, there's so much you can do with like so little. All you have to do is say like, I believe in you to someone, and it'll take them so far. And just being a mentor means so much. I don't know, if I hadn't met like all these people, like I probably still have been like, dang, like I can't do all these things. I never would have applied to Microsoft. And yeah, just hearing like I believe in you means so much. So,
What do you talk about?
Well, I can't top it, but
Yeah.
so, but my thing to say would be open-minded, right? Just like be open-minded. Not every techie looks the same. And secondly, it would be to invest in your employees, right? Don't if you're gonna hire somebody. At least I believe you should hire somebody because of their core skills, right? Not just because they know a certain program, a certain language, right? I mean, it might take you a couple weeks to teach them that, but look at their history, look at their work. I think you might spend a couple bucks, bring them up to speed language-wise, software-wise, whatever it is, but you could probably get a higher return in the long run from that employee.
Yeah. Good advice from all three of you. Thank you. We are at time, so I want to say thank you to Robin, to Natalie, and to Zoed. I'd like to say thanks to Roadtrip Nation for making this happen. Please take a look at either the USpark Hub or the Roadtrip Nation site if you want to see this film and others. And let me just sort of end by saying, and you all can help me reinforce it, we believe in you. Thanks, everybody.
Wow. It's amazing to see that much potential, and I know Microsoft wants to hire all three of those folks. But I want you guys to know you probably have at least 200 job offers being written right now in this room. So if you ever find yourself out of work, make sure you get in touch with Zoed, and he'll put you in touch with anyone in this room. You got a standing job offer once you're ready. It's truly amazing, and it really spoke to me again about opportunities to connect people with purpose. We have opportunities for employees to mentor. There's so many people that need mentoring, and for some people, that's what's going to give them purpose. For some people, it's moving chairs, apparently.